Wow, what a day. Sunshine, beautiful atmosphere outside and inside. I thank the good Lord for another day of life and the opportunity to do the work I love. And I love this work, ladies and gentlemen, because the relationships, the people around me for years, and one of them is sitting by me right now. Back in the day at KOB Channel 7, wherever we were in this big city, Channel 4, Channel 7, great atmosphere there because I love my relationships, except, extra special relationships today. We bring back a very close friend of mine, Tommy Aragon, who we worked with me. We were kids growing up at KOB together in Channel 7. And if I ever known anything about television, this young man taught me most of what I know. He's been with me with Muhammad Ali, the Unzers at Indy, and numerous feature stories all over the state. Together, Tommy and I kind of revolutionized TV in New Mexico. We were like the daredevils, if you will, the evil Knievels of TV. And I've got them smiling already because they're real stories. We took chances in TV. Tommy has been in California for many years. It seems like yesterday he was here, but he's back home. And what an honor to be sitting next to my longtime friend. Tommy, how are you, brother?
Good, man.
God bless you,
Thank
man.
you for having me on.
You look great.
Man, look at you, bro. I feel like something big's gonna happen here.
Man, you know what? Something is big gonna happen. My heart's been going like this all night.
Very cool, man.
Because it's so special. We did some special things.
Hey, guess what special is gonna happen here today?
Tell me.
I'm gonna interview you.
No way. I would freeze.
He's taught me a few things and how to interview and conduct myself in presence of.
I don't know which way to go, whether to preface what we did, how you got to California, the experiences in California with all the movie stars, big politicians, covering great big stories, including OJ.
All a blessing to be able to be there.
And you were so good, technically, creatively, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I got a lot of pats on the back for being creative, and I have been a lot throughout my career. But this is Mr. Creativity right here.
Thank you.
Tommy, we did some awesome work. Let's go back in the day. First of all, how did you get on Albuquerque TV?
Well, that was interesting, the way I got on. Everybody has a story. Mine takes me back to my high school sweetheart. I was in high school and I was dating a girl. Her uncle got drafted into the Vietnam War, bless his heart. So they had a hard time filling in a spot on the weekends at like 6 in the morning to come and clean film. To the wagon trains, petticoat junctions and all that were on 16mm film. I had to clean the film and put it on there so the projectionist could put it back on. And then I just worked my way up. I was gonna be a dental hygienist by profession, but you gotta be smart to clean teeth, Henry. So I knew that wasn't good for me, bro. I'm sitting there with nurses and 3 doctors, and I'm like, maybe I don't know. But this is the thing that happened, is that, and long story short, a few years go by, I was going to school at UNM, and I kept getting promotions. And then Henry says, hey, we got along, we worked, I was a cameraman inside the studio doing the newscast. You push these big things around, these giant tripods. And you and I, you were on the set, you were the sports guy, and we got along, and you said, hey, You got to be my cameraman. You needed a cameraman. You didn't have an assigned cameraman for yourself. So you talked Dick Nipping into signing the okay paper to let me come on with you and be your cameraman. I had no idea how to even load a 16mm camera. I didn't know what I was doing, but you had faith in me and said, come on, be my cameraman. Henry, I don't know how to do that work. You'll learn. Sure enough, as it goes by, I end up being your cameraman.
A little
What-
training here and there,
what-
on the spot training.
Oh my God. Let me tell you about my first day on the job. So I got the job. So it's like the first day of school. You are nervous as heck. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was overwhelmed with the mechanical end of the camera. I knew how to shoot a story because I had been in news and I studied. I looked to see how these guys did it, what kind of shots they needed. But long story short, when I showed up to work, they says, I was sweating it all night. I wanted an easy assignment. They sent me to the Cooperage to go do a foot race at the
Wow.
Cooperage. They do that there. Perfect assignment. I could do that, right? I could shoot people running by me. I show up, people were looking for me. I'm like, what? You know my name? You're the guy from Channel 4, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, step into this. Step into what? They had a harness for me. They're making me step into a harness for my legs and my arm, everything, my arms and everything. And I was like, what is going on? My camera's on the ground. I'm getting into this. They says, we're getting the helicopter ready for you. Helicopter? I'm here to cover a race. I'm not gonna do, I don't even know what I'm doing. And I said, okay, well, you're getting a helicopter ready for me. What does that mean? He says, we're taking the door off for you. Taking the door
Oh,
off right, on a helicopter? No, what?
chopper 4.
Oh my God, I had my leg, standing on the skids with a camera. Talk about being scared.
First assignment.
First day assignment, first day on the job. And honestly, my career has just been like that every day.
He pulled it off.
Right, pulled it off. We faked them again, as they say.
Amazing.
No, but it's been very, very exciting, all the things.
That's a great open right there.
But Henry, you've covered some really big stories yourself in your time. And I covered a lot of them with you.
Yeah.
Let's take people behind the scenes. You've talked about stories like Indy, you talked about stories about Muhammad Ali and stuff. I had the pleasure of being with Henry on those things. And let's tell them what happened.
Tell him.
Okay. So Henry set up the story for, Henry used to do all his work. He's his own producer, his writer, and he did everything. He's pretty amazing, hard worker. You'll never find another a harder worker than Henry. So we're going to Indy, right? So Henry sets us up with the Galluses. So we go to Indy. This is behind the scenes stuff. So we had the privilege of going to the race in 1981, I believe, or 1980. I think it was 1980. We flew with the Galluses in their private jet.
Yeah.
That's a great way to start. So we had
Bobby won that race.
Bobby won that race. There was a controversial with Mario Andretti.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Henry, let me ask you a question. What's the hardest you've ever worked? What story?
The Indy 500.
Amen. Me
Massive
too.
ground.
Oh my God, we were.
I mean, you have to walk forever.
And this is what we did. We had one camera, but we made it look like there was 4 or 5, because we were
Credit
here.
to Tommy.
I never worked harder in my life. We went here. We went in the pits. We were in the stands. We were
Gasoline
alley without without fireproof clothes. We were in the gasoline alley.
In the pit, gasoline alley, and we went from there into the luxury suites.
Okay, let me tell you how much of amateurs Henry and I were and how much over our heads we were. we were on the track, getting pictures of these guys putting on their gloves, their helmets. It's really such an eerie feeling. It's loud, it's colorful, and you look into these guys' eyes and everything is blocked out. They are just focused.
That's the greatest focus I
and-
can describe.
Yeah, no kidding. And you look at these guys, they're daredevils. You see them and you're like, man, we don't know if we're going to see these guys again. Really crazy, intense. I'm getting beautiful shots, great shots, amazing access. And you get so into it that when the race started, they started their cars and they take off. And me and Henry are on the wrong side of the track.
What else?
Remember, bro? Oh
We are
my
where we're
God.
not supposed to be,
Hey,
right
man.
where the action
And
is.
where the cars are zipping, and they don't all start at the same time. Some of them don't, they stall and they don't start, and then they take off too. So you just can't like run across at any moment because these rockets are going by. Oh, we found a little wall. We fall over the wall and we're laying on our backs on the grass, just laughing at ourselves because we already know, man, what the heck, Henry?
Well, these are, since then, there have been injuries and people hurt and burned and everything. They wrote rules that would prevent a photographer
amateurs from getting on the track.
too close to the action. But there was one thing when I worked with Tom, I knew that he was the action man. When you see a photographer where he's not supposed to be, you want that photographer on your team.
I don't know about that.
Because you're going to get the shot that nobody else is going to get.
Well,
Am I right?
You were right, but we were learning big time, man. And so we got a great story out of it. Bobby won, blah blah blah. It was amazing. So we worked like Henry said. That was the hardest I ever worked. Exhausted. Next morning we get up. Henry tells us, we're not going home. I was, where are we going? He goes, I found out that Muhammad Ali is training for his last fight. I found out he's training at his training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. So, okay, are we invited? No.
Unannounced.
Unannounced.
We're going to break in the party.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe it. I was totally exhausted. So we go and we flew into Allentown. And then from Allentown, we had to drive to Pottsville to be closer so we could drive the next morning to unannounced to his training camp. Exhausted, so tired. So we landed in Allentown. We're driving to Pottsville, and it's one of those things where you're buddies. So, it's like, okay, I'll drive half the way and you drive the other way. Help each other out, right? That's why it works. Have you guys ever been so tired you can't keep your eyes open? You just, as hard as I tried, Henry was driving. I said, Henry, are you okay? He said, I'm okay. We'd be driving, I'd be falling asleep, and I'd hear, I'm like, okay, we're going off the road a little bit. Henry, you okay? I'm okay. I was so exhausted, so tired. I could even help my buddy up. So I fell asleep again, and I'm falling asleep. I wake up and I look. There's nobody in the driver's seat. This is pitch black, dark. I look out the front window with the headlights, and there's a guy running towards the car. Guess who it is? Henry. I'm like, he gets in the car. We're in the middle of the mountain somewhere. Henry, what are you doing? He goes, I was falling asleep. I couldn't stay awake. But could you imagine? You wake up, the guy's gone. Somebody's running towards your car. And it's the driver.
Well, that's not the fatigue you get when you go to Indy. It's so massive a facility as far as you need to walk every day. And most of the time you're in a hurry. So you're running most of the time to get to the scoop, to catch the driver you want.
Yeah, because they ain't going to do it again. It happens. That's the way things.
The time is now at Indy.
And it was fun. So then we went to, so then we made it. We came to Muhammad Ali's place, and how you drive in the mountains, there's this tiny little driveway. If you're driving, it's just another driveway, but he knew which one to take. So you
Because
go.
I had been there before
Mhm.
by invitation with Muhammad Ali, because I made a wood carving for him back in the day when he came to the Bobby Foster testimonial dinner. So I had been there before for a whole week
But you
with the heavyweight champion.
But you've never been there with a cameraman.
Never.
No.
And thank God he was with me, because we did some creative things.
Well, when we got to the camp there, we get out and we go straight to his mess hall. He has one cabin. He has several cabins, but he had one of them is just for the mess hall. You walk in and there's like 3 giant wood carved benches, tables, and he was sitting at the end. He invited us right in. We walked right up to him, introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
He sat us down and we talked so openly and so free that because you're in his house, in his premises, he was very relaxed and he treated us so good. And
Yeah.
we got it. I wish we could show it right now.
And all his
But we
staff,
do
I had been there before and met most of his staff.
Lana the cook,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Drew Bundini Brown, all these guys. What great access we
Wally
had.
Muhammad.
So we spent the time with them in the morning having breakfast, and then later on, he invited us over to the gym. And not until then, when I had the camera on the ground, getting a low angle shot of him hitting the heavy bag, I looked down into my viewfinder and I could see these huge calves. And then I could hear the power that he was hitting the heavy bag with. And I'm like, I look up and I'm like, wow, that's Muhammad Ali.
We have arrived. This is
Yeah,
the big time.
but not until then, even after I had talked to him, not until I saw his greatness and his power that he was hitting that bag with. I'm like, wow,
We're here.
we're here. What great fun. After that, we went to a barbecue right outside. They were having a barbecue. It was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And with we got a great interview with Drew Bundini Brown, gave us a behind the scenes kind of story about Muhammad and his crew. But he was there, and it was a little barbecue. So we went over to Muhammad, and he was bouncing a little girl on his lap,
Playful.
Layla.
Little Layla, 3 years old at the time.
Oh, it was neat to see.
And you know Layla Ali, his daughter, she's been the woman heavyweight champion of the world.
Accomplished.
Now she's a big celebrity.
Mhm.
So yeah, what an experience.
Yeah.
We followed him to his privacy in his mosque. Nobody's invited there, but he allowed Tommy and I to take a few pictures there, interviewed him about his faith, and there were no limitations of what we could do on that campsite when we were there, and we were so fortunate.
But I'll tell you, those are famous people. You always like to hear stories about them, but some of the most meaningful things that Henry and I did were not with people that
Of great notoriety. No.
I get choked up just thinking about Trevor.
Yeah.
Tell him.
There was a young man who suffered from muscular dystrophy. And we got to spend a lot of time with little Trevor and his parents at their residence. And we went wherever impulsively they were going, following his daily activity. And we put the most incredible, creative, powerful, that would make you cry feature story ever created in this town. And it was on little Trevor.
He was amazing. I have done stories where I couldn't hang, or interviews with people that have lost their loved ones or something like that. but little Trevor, he was the first one that I had to, during the interview, I had to lock the camera in place so I could walk outside and cry. That what got to me is that he was in a wheelchair and Henry asked him, what is it that you dream about when you dream? And he said, I dream of walking and flying. Oh my God. To see, I just had to walk out. I couldn't handle it anymore. So memorable. People just enrich our lives because they're willing to share.
Wow.
But you're a good interviewer.
Well, that was a powerful experience.
Yeah.
And any complaining we ever did about whatever triviality, we put complaining in our lives away for a long time because little Trevor, with his limitations, his handicap, we never heard him complain. It was ear to ear smile and being polite and what can I do for you next? And just getting to meet and know and understand his new friends, Tommy and Henry.
But
what an experience.
Oh, some things just stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And they drive you and they give you inspiration. The thing about being blessed by being in this line of work is that people, if they trust you, they'll open up and they allow you into their lives. And we've worked with so many good, amazing people that we just, you leave and you take something from them.
That might be the single most important adjective and word in our business: trust.
Oh, it is. It's everything.
Building the trust of the athlete or the person we're going to interview. We're invading their privacy. We're asking them for a few moments of their time, and they give it all to us. For what reasons? It's unwritten there. But trust shows up.
But see, Henry, this is what I like about you, though. We know what the score is. If they won or lost. We know these things. But you ask questions that have nothing to do with that. You have questions that have to do with the heart. And thank you. I've learned that from you. Okay, but we've worked with great people, Coach Colson, so many people, beautiful people here in New Mexico, and talented. There's so many talented people here. But let me just say something about working with this gentleman. The one thing that I learned about Henry, and I take on and I try to take a little bit into my life, is that Henry never gives up. He's a fighter. I'll give you an example. When the 6 o'clock news comes around, you better be ready because it's a live show every day. Okay. And Henry and I, we were buddies, but we had the biggest fights you would ever see.
Yeah.
People would if Henry and I were fighting, they'd leave the newsroom or just start gossiping. I was like, they're having another one again. We'd go I'd go out, shoot some things with Henry sometimes without him. And then we'd have to edit it and put the whole thing together for the 6 o'clock news, which had a time limit on it. You got to be on there. I'd come in, I'd shoot a story that I fell in love with, the people I fell in love with that I was shooting. And Henry would have, it'd be a minute and a half story. He would have sports scores and all these things that he had to get into this little 3.5 minute show. So he'd tell me, you got to cut that minute and a half story down to 20 seconds. Okay, it was on. We would battle it out. Anyway, Henry would never give up and start whatever. This is the thing on Henry's part. It'd be 10 minutes before we're supposed to be on. We'd start editing the story, try to put it on. People would be screaming and yelling, Henry, we need you out here. He'd be in there I'm like, Henry, you're not gonna make it. Just drop the story. No, 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 we're gonna get this story on. Screaming and yelling. He'd run out there, and then he'd do one of these. He said, Henry, put your microphone on. Oh, you'd be putting his microphone on and put it at the last second, but the guy would get on and he'd put it on and he never gave up. I just anytime I feel myself stuck in something and I feel like I'm not gonna make it, I can't do it, I should quit. I don't quit.
And that business, it is so dramatic. A minute away from the sports show, the story's still not done. Tommy's laying down the last shots. And then he finishes, he's running down the hallway to the director and producer's room. And they give him a thumbs up. I'm running and I'm perspiring. I'm putting my mic on or whatever. And they give us a thumbs up. The story's in. He's out of breath. I'm worried to death. And you got to feel like this, calm, like nothing's happening. And Dick Nipping turns over to you. Here's Henry, the sports Henry. What's going on? I take a deep breath and here we go. Like we had been kicking back all afternoon.
Like it was planned.
But our heart's going like this. And we've got perspiration.
And then all the people that saw us fighting would all say, oh, it's only Henry and Tommy.
Yeah.
They're probably going out for a beer after this.
And then they admired our work. And they knew we came to work for real for 3.5 minutes. How are we going to do that? We'd figure it out. Yeah, we did some work up in God bless you.
I had a good partner. I owe a lot to Henry because he if it wouldn't be for him, I'd be cleaning teeth.
Wow.
Maybe.
How'd you get to LA?
Good people. Lots of good people around me. Well, you know, Dick Niffin had a big part of it in that he allowed us to work together. I'll never forget the team of Dick Niffin and Howard Morgan. What a gift to New Mexico, huh? Talk about straight up professional, good people, honest people. Okay. Dedicated. True professionals.
Dick
on and off the set.
Amen.
Okay, so I'm in the newsroom one day. Okay, so before that, Henry and I went to Los Angeles to do a story on Fernando Valenzuela. Remember that?
Yeah. Right there in the middle of Dodger Stadium.
Oh my God, I'm standing on the mound where I'm not supposed to be because I'm from Albuquerque, and I'm from Albuquerque, a new cameraman starting out. I don't know, I'm not supposed to be on the field. I was on the field getting shots of Fernando. Fernando's warming up, looking at me, laughing. I'm like, you know where you're at? Like,
yeah,
like,
dodging baseball.
I said, do you know where you're at? I said, yeah, I'm getting great shots of you. So he laughs and he's warming up, he's throwing. I stand up and just look from the mound, looking up at the colorful, beautiful weather and people and pretty women. And I'm like, I'm coming back. So I had to go back home. I had to make a decision. Am I going to be a dental hygienist or am I going to be a cameraman? So I flipped the coin and chose television. A year later, I got hired in LA by Fox. It wasn't Fox at the time, it was Metro Media. But I worked for them for 40 years. Praise God.
Amazing.
40 years at that place. Now I'm retired. I retired November 1st. I made it over the finish line, and I'm ready for whatever God brings my way.
Wow. And in those days, I was, it's the time you're young and you got all this energy and you got stories and you got a great tape to show somebody. And Tommy makes the movies out there and I'm this close, and I had a beautiful mom to take care of. I was getting a few offers, but I had to say no to the offers and stay home with my beautiful mom and take care of her literally every day. And tough decision, because as Tommy has done every story imaginable as a professional in LA, including the OJ trial, big sports events, celebrities everywhere. I'm envying him and saying, well, where would I rather be, with Tommy or the responsibility of taking care of my beautiful mom? Well, I took care of her. When she says, Hito, please don't leave me alone, how do you say no to your mom?
Henry, you did the right thing. Always in life, when we have a choice to do this or to do that, and if you're picking the hardest choice, you picked the right one. You'll never regret that.
Wow.
Yeah. You've blessed people. You not only blessed your mom, you've blessed others by being here.
Well,
And you blessed me.
well, now you can know, now you understand rather how much he means to me as a friend, a very close friend. But remembering our professionalism together, in some ways we revolutionized television in our community. Even things that we did were picked up by other markets around the country because we were revolutionary.
I wish we could show some of the stories we shot.
We might, we'll get our editor, we'll get
yes,
Jimmy to maybe throw in an Ollie tape
or yes.
as we edit this.
Now, I do have to give a big thanks to a reporter, Jenny Simone. Remember Jenny Simone? One day I was working hard and just walking through the newsroom. She knew I wanted to move on. And one of a very good cameraman, way better cameraman than I am. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Oh,
it's all right.
He applied for the job in Los Angeles that I ended up getting because he refused it. Jenny found out. She told me, hey, Tommy, Jenny Simone, there's a job open in Los Angeles. You should apply for it. And I says, okay, I will. She goes, here's the number. She had the number in her hand. I reached to get it. She grabbed my arm, took me to the telephone, picked up the phone and dialed the number for me and put it to my ear because she probably knew I probably wasn't going to do it. And she did that. And lo and behold, I ended up getting the job.
Wow. And your spec tape, a spec tape is a tape of all your greatest hits. Wherever you are, you put them on one tape and send those great stories to a news director at the next station. Tommy did such a superb job of putting a spectacular spec tape together. And the news director saw his tape. And what was his reaction?
He hired me before he could see what I could do. He just saw the tape. I mean, I was out shooting a story for him for a demonstration. And when I came in without looking at what I had shot that day, just by what I had shot before with you, I got the job. He wanted me to start the next day.
In other words, he liked your work.
He liked your work, I think. And he thought that you and I were, he thought it was a package deal, I think.
Well, believe it. And here's the thing, Tommy has decided he might be like Tom Brady, that he might come back. And he really may not retire. And I don't believe Brady's going to retire, but I don't believe Tommy's fully retired, because I'm going to have him do some things for me when he comes back to town, because we're still creating together.
We never retired. No. This is the thing. God gave us certain gifts. And even after we finish paying the bills or continue with life, we get life back by giving our gifts back to.
I would like to try to put a feature together with you and share it with our audience and rehash old times. What do you think?
Let's see what happens.
Let's do it. But you know, I'm in my studio and I have a lot of photos in here and memories and awards, and I would have never achieved any of them if it were not with my teammate and the teamwork with Tommy Aragon. And
You were definitely the highlight of my career, Henry,
thank
for
you.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Meeting all those movie stars and all that, and you have the audacity to say that
Yeah.
to me right here.
I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. It was just a blessing that you came into my life and you helped me out and you gave me a whole new avenue.
Wow.
To
What? And maybe we can simplify. We talked about behind the scenes a lot today, but what's it like behind the scenes of television, modern big time television? The creation of the show.
Being a cameraman in LA and being a cameraman in New Mexico is a lot of the same things. Only the names are bigger. Everything is magnified, but it's the same thing. You know, it's a people business. I don't care what you do in life. If you're work at a gas station, if you're a nurse, or teacher, cameraman, whatever, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is what you do with it and how you relate to people. If you can't relate to people and you're the best carpenter in the planet or the best whatever, no one cares until you care about them. It doesn't matter. That life is a small world.
Wow.
You could be the best there is. And if you're a jerk, who cares? But if you can relate to people, you could sit in Henry T's studio and do an interview.
Wow.
It's just like that.
And I got more pictures and plaques than what you see on the walls.
You have history.
There's no more room.
You have history. And we're blessed because God gave us this situation,
Yeah.
and we're going to be judged on what we did with it.
Amen.
Right?
But I'm going to give you a little hint, and all of you too. Henry T's not finished yet. He told you I never give up.
He does.
Look out. There's more fuel in the tank here. And I'm going to bring him out of retirement. I don't think he's fully there yet. So
You know what else I've been doing, and it's a blessing that I can still do it. Is I volunteer at a church, and I work in their video department, and all these good churches, a lot of them have beautiful opportunity to be, and if you want to learn or be part, or if you know and you want to help out. It's a great place to go.
Back then, we didn't have computers. We didn't have some of the machinery.
Hey, remember the term, I'll drop you a dime?
Yeah.
We'd be on stories, and we had pagers. If our pagers would go off, we'd have to go look for a phone booth somewhere and drop a dime and pick up our boss and say, hey, what do you want? What's changed?
Yeah. Man,
no.
The equipment has changed significantly.
It's changed so much. We used to
no cell phone with all the gadgets that we have today. No Facebook.
How about live trucks? We used to have live trucks to go all over the place to do a live interview or a live shot. Nowadays, I could put this little box about this big on my belt and go live wherever I want.
Amazing.
It's just wild. I mean, it used to be that radio was the live and immediate because they get on the phone and they do a live interview. Now TV, now it's the same. You do it with audio and video.
One of these days I'm gonna have him whisper to me, but I won't think I don't want him to do it in front of you because oh no, that's the wrong answer. But I always think, gosh, Tommy's out there in the big time. We did great things together here. Could I have done that too?
Yeah. Like I said, hey, it's the same thing here. It's just that the names and the places are just magnified up there. It's just, but I'd have to say, I'm glad I got out when I did.
We
I
did
got
Tommy
it sometime.
Lasorda, Pedro Guerrero, Garvey, and we did Fernando. There were, I mean, we
Endless
did
stories.
some names.
But we
And we
also,
might have been restricted. There might have been a sign there and Tommy likes it, ignore that sign.
no,
No
Henry said,
interest here.
Tommy did not, listen, Tommy did not, Henry said, ignore that side.
Well, all I know is we got the story and we got it back home. At Indianapolis, we were the first television team from a small market to get on the tower and uplink a live story from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Jim McCabe from ABC was there, all these top people. But Albuquerque's inaugural first ever live report at 6 p.m. from the tower at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This was the team right here.
Huh.
We
Love
pulled it
him.
off,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, we did some hard
But I
work,
want you to
Henry.
tell me, you have a beautiful little grandma. You have a wonderful mother and a wonderful dad. You know, where do you put them and all the people that have been a part of your life, of your success story?
I remember when I got the job, I went to Los Angeles and stood at my friend's house, Dave and Manny Fernandez's house. They were able to, during my when I went out there to interview. I come back and I had a decision to make now. Was I going to take the job or was I going to leave my grandma? It's like in your situation, Henry, with your mom. Grandma knew she was 90, she was in her 90s, probably early 90s. And she knew what I was out there for. I go up to her and I told her, Grandma, and she says, take it.
Wow.
I didn't even ask her. She already knew. She says, take the job because I've already lived my life.
Wow. And that's manure.
See. And so I got her blessing, so I did it. And if I would have gotten her blessing, Henry, I would have done the same thing you did. I would have probably just stood because I didn't want to. There's priorities in life. And you know, we're all stuck with certain decisions to make. I was blessed that she understood and shoved me off.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean it in Espanol. What did she tell you as she said bye to you and wished you well?
Okay. Great question. But I'm gonna tell you something different about my grandma. And this is how way she was. She loved me to death. I was her. Don't get mad out there, you haters, that my relatives. But I was her favorite grandchild, and she had many. She sat next to me after my mom would give me a spanking, and she'd say, "Mijito, ¿por qué no haces lo que te dice tu mamacita?" It would hurt her more when I got spanked than it would hurt me.
Oh.
But she would say, just in English, she would say in Spanish, just do what your mommy tells you. Why don't you do what your mommy tells you?
Wow.
What a love affair we have.
That's a beautiful story.
Mhm.
Give the audience a couple of highlights, like the movie star, a movie star, a couple of movie stars that you actually were there with and interviewed and got to converse with them and maybe even became friends with them. Give us a story.
Well, this is the thing, is that when I went out there, at the beginning, because of our history, they made me a sports cameraman. Fun. It was great. Got to do a Super Bowl at the at the Rose Bowl and so many things. But I was during the time when OJ did his thing with tragically. It was sickening, and I just wanted to get out of sports. I said,
Wow.
I don't, you know, these, I some of these people are, these athletes are so gifted and they're phenoms ever from when they're in junior high. They get people's attention. They grow up thinking that they're the greatest there is. People cater to them, tell them how great they are, how wonderful they are, whether they're coaches or schools or whoever it may be. And they start to believe that how good and special they are. And I hate to get too deep in this, but that turned me off so bad.
Yeah.
And then he got away with it. And I didn't want to be around people like that anymore. But there's people in every segment of life, whether you're an athlete or not, you'll run into one of them and they'll give you their shirt off their back.
Yeah.
Like Bud Black, Renee Zellweger, people
My favorite, by the way.
People that
of all
are just
time.
people that are just, they're unbelievable. They'll give you their shirt, literally give you the shirt off their back. And that's a breath of fresh air. And that you think, okay, well, not everybody's so messed up, you know.
Yeah.
Those people keep me going. But it's just everyday life relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. It doesn't matter where you've been, what you've done. What matters is the relationships that you have developed, and praise God for the opportunities that every day he gives you and I an opportunity to be that guy to someone else and affect their lives in a special way.
Wow. Very special days of Henry T's life and my career. And I'm so blessed that Tommy Aragon was a part of my career, my life, his friends. And wow, I don't know where to end this interview, but there might be a part 2. But he comes back to town, gives me a call, and I said, man, Tommy, would you be on this show? And without any hesitation, he said yes. And you got to learn a whole new part of TV, the real life of this very creative, flamboyant business. And this is stuff probably that's revolutionary to you. You get to go behind the scenes today in a brand new way because of his gift of gab and his great memory. And working together has always been fun, challenging, and emotional with my buddy Tommy. We may bring a story to you in the near future that I can hardly wait to do. Are we going to do it? That's a rhetorical question. We are going to do it.
Henry, you're the man. God bless you, man. Thank you for having me on.
God bless you, Tommy.
God bless you guys.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy you could be a part of this show. And every Monday, we bring you something different. We've interviewed all of them locally, the who's who, but there's still a bunch out there to do. So I'm coming your way. Henry T is not going to use the retirement word ever for a long time, because there's a lot of Henry T fuel still in the tank. And before I go, Tommy's a great man of faith. You know, wow, I'm here today because of my faith as well. And I'm so gifted the things I did, my health right now, the ability to tell a story to this day. I would really be remiss if I didn't thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus, for what he did for me and all the gifts he's given me, whatever they are, whatever capabilities I have. I didn't do it myself, but for many years I did this, pat myself on the back. But no, all the glory goes to God.
Amen.
I would have never had any of these experiences if it wasn't for him providing me the gifts that I have that enable me to do the work with my friend Tommy. and to work with you, and we can work together. But if you have anything to say to me today, dial my cell phone. If you have a suggestion of a story out there that should be on this show, a little kid doing spectacular things, a grandma, whatever, call me. 505-907-4523. That's going to do it today, unless Tommy has a closing remark.
I just want to say, how would you like to have a colleague, a friend, a brother like him? Hey, we're all blessed to have you, Henry. Love you, buddy.
See you later.
God bless.
And man, you talk about producers. We got the magic wonder boy in Jimmy Tran.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jimmy puts things together, creativity. He worked at NASA making robots, and now he's got the audacity and the courage to work with Henry T. Wow. And Tommy never lose sight of his creativity. And right now he's moving the camera around to get a better shot. Framing me up. He never stopped. That's why he still has gas in his tank. See you later. See you next Monday. Jimmy Tran, you are the man. Tommy, God bless you. And God bless you for being there today for all of us. And we have a special guest in the room. And he's not on camera, but he is talented. I met a new friend of Tommy's today. His name is Manny. Manny Hernandez. Oh, it's Fernandez. Manny, and his brother we worked with. Wow. See you later. I'm not going to stop talking. These guys give me ideas every 5 seconds. See you later. We'll see you next Monday. This is Henry T. Game Face Live. Take care. Did you?
Bro, you want his money back, bro.
Sorry, it's live right now, so I got it.